we caught up for the first time last week.
Yeah.
And it was your first time being back here for ages because you're in Marbella.
Yep.
What are you doing in Marbella? Like I was there for all COVID, well actually 6 months over COVID,
Yep.
and it was great because we were networking with the likes of like Adam Power, all those guys.
Yep.
And then you moved there shortly after I left, so we just missed each other, but we caught up
Yeah.
here in Belfast finally.
Yeah.
So what's Marbella?
It's kind of funny. We've been texting for like, has it been a year? I don't know. Has it been a year? I feel like it has been.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, because I seen you on Twitter, like talking to Adam and talking to Connor and all, and I was like, all right, he's from Belfast, I have to talk to him, like so.
Yeah.
But I was, Marbella, man, it's such a spot, man. I was traveling for 3 years there, like all through COVID. Was in like Mexico, Costa Rica, Budapest, Italy, like all over the place.
Sick.
And then, I mean, because you travel a lot, but it sucks traveling all the time. Like you lose your routine. You're not like in place. You feel like you can't progress as fast. So I was like, right, I need to move somewhere. And I went to Marbella like a year and a half ago. And I was like, this place is, and I went just like on an off chance. Like my mate was like, come here, let's go skiing in Sierra Nevada. And I arrived, I was like, this place is class, like, and it's like everything you look for in a place to live. So I moved from, I stopped traveling. I was like, right, I'm gonna put my roots down in Marbella and just live there. And yeah, it's actually been class, like.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That routine is peak. Like everyone, I think that it gets crowded in the industry where people talk about like the digital nomad lifestyle is amazing because I started my business that way. But there's a point that you cross over and you just go, no, having roots in, having routine in, having structure is much more fulfilling. Or I guess people just have their different like whys and different goals. Like back then our goal was probably to see as much of the world as possible.
Bro.
Cultures, people.
The digital nomad thing it's so fake. It's like such a like a misconception. Like I remember I went to Thailand years ago, and you've been to Thailand as well. And I went there, and I was in uni. I was like 18, 19. I was like, oh, I want to travel all the time. You meet these people in like the hostels. They're like, yeah, we travel all the time. Blah blah blah. Like we're digital nomads. You're like, oh my god, I want to do that. And then you start like pursuing it, and then you find out these people make like $5 a day, just enough to pay for their like crappy hostel. They make enough to buy like 50p like pad thai and like a beer, and they're happy with that. And like fair play to them, but then they're like 35 and still like tripping around the hostels like for like £5 a day.
Yeah,
it's like there's a balance to be struck, like, because if you want to like actually build a real business, you can't really be a digital nomad in the traditional sense. You need to actually be trying to get yourself in better circles, because the digital nomads, the classic digital nomad is like Bali hostel, £5 a day.
Hippie vibes.
Looks like a hippie, stinks. like no top tier client's gonna hire that guy. Like you gotta be like structured. You gotta like be in a good place, meet the right people. You can't just be like looking like like crap as a digital nomad. So like it's complete fake lifestyle in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hear you when you say it's fake. I think it's in the other side. I think it's real in that you're right. They don't care about that, but it's aligning with what their goal actually is. So they're not trying to be Gucci, Fendi, Rolex, boyzos. They're trying to be free-spirited, right? Yeah. And I guess like when you go through that, you think people joke about it. It's like they go in gap year to find themselves.
Yep.
But then it's done. I kind of think you can grow out of it, or at least I did. Grew out of traveling, grew out of moving around, decided I wanted nice cars, I wanted to optimize for growth and experience in a different way, like experience in business, not just, scuba diving somewhere else.
So how did your business start when you were a digital nomad versus now? Like where did you begin?
I began drop shipping in Australia and doing social media management. That's where I first learned. That's when I started reading, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, The Master Key System, Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles. I was reading those like during long journeys in Australia, and I was like, holy fuck, you can actually make money doing whatever you want. So just choose something. And that's when I chose like digital rather than like a roofing business, or because I was a roofer in Australia. So I was like, right, I'm gonna do a digital thing. So I took this online digital course. I was like, oh shit, drop shipping, could do some drop shipping. We got a few products, doing a couple of grand. Like we had some organic success back then in 2014, 15. So it wasn't like we were making ads. Yeah. It was organic. And then again, you transition into different things. When I came home, I transitioned into a social media role at an app, which helped me learn more about marketing and more about like event marketing and activations and experiential marketing and making like a brand like this really cool thing. And that then took me into the events industry, which pivoted into content, which then pivoted into the content agency that we have today. So again, like very macro, high level, I just took you through, you know, the last 8 to 10 years of my life, but all very rooted from making that decision. I was like, do you know what? You can make money doing anything, just go start. So I never actually had a real job. Traveled Australia, straight into that digital world, and that was me.
Yeah, we actually kind of have similar paths because I started, my first successful thing was actually dropshipping as well.
Yeah.
But I started on, so when I was a kid, right, I was a video editor. Like we would make stupid videos on YouTube messing about. And I would learn how to use like Sony Vegas, like Adobe, different like editing softwares. And I knew that from childhood. Then you grow up, you grow out of that. Then I literally was like, when I had that epiphany, I was like, I need to like make money. I was like driving back and forth to uni, and I was just in like this crappy like old car, like from like the 90s, like break down literally every 2 weeks. And I was like, I need to get something better here. And I didn't want to do the job I was studying for, which was engineering. And I was just cranking Ty Lopez podcast, bro, just crank like on the car up and back to uni. He's like knowledge, and this 18-year-old's making like billions of dollars, you know, every month, like social SMMA. And I was like, right, I need to look into this thing. So I was like, right, so I took on, my first ever online money was SMMA. Like literally like, I was like, all right, content, I'll make content for somebody. And I literally cold called, like with a pen and paper, I was cold calling like businesses in Belfast, like jewelry companies, chiropractors, gyms, like literally anything I could just think of. Okay, gyms, Belfast. I'd go through the list, call them one by one, be like, hey, can I get a meeting with you, whatever. And eventually someone said yes, so there's a jewelry company. And I went down, bro, I was like dressed up, suited and booted, like wearing like a nice shirt from like, you know, H&M and all. Like, I thought I was like, you know, Mr. Businessman or whatever, but it was clearly like a little kid. And I went in and like she agreed to like pay me like 400 or 500 quid to like set up. She had no Facebook page, she had no content, nothing, like literally nothing online. I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this for you for 500 quid. So I took the money, she paid me a check. And I checked, she gave me a check, I was like, fuck yeah, bro, I was hyped when I left that place.
No Stripe back then, boy.
Oh no, bro, literally. She's like, well, how do you want me to pay you? I was like, what way can you pay me? I didn't know how to get paid, like, so funny. And I literally gave my mate like 50 quid because he had a camera, like he was like an amateur photographer. So I was like, I'll give you 50 quid, you come down with me in a day and we'll just take tons of pictures of all this jewelry, we'll do videos and all, like all that stuff. So we did that, took videos, took pictures. And I used my old editing skills from back in the day as a kid to make that video, like this little like promo video. And I also told her, I'll get you like likes on your page. I'll get you like promoted. She was like, sweet. And I was like, I have no idea how to do that. But then one day I was like, all right, we just need to run like a competition. So I told her, I was like, are you cool giving away like $5,000 worth of, $3,000 worth of jewelry? She goes, can we give away $5,000? And I was like, I was really nervous. I didn't want to, cause wasn't confident in myself. And I was scared like she would waste like 5K and get like 10 likes on a post or something. So I was like, do you want to do 3K? She was like, all right, 3K is fine. I'm like, sweet. So I ran this promotion, like this competition, like follow, share, all that stuff to get, you know, in with a chance of like £3,000 worth of jewelry or whatever. And the owner shared it, her employees shared it, and bro, literally the entire country of Northern Ireland seen that ad, seen that competition. The impressions was over like 2.5 million people. Thousands of comments for like their wives tagging their husbands. Oh, I want this, John, please buy this for me. Like my birthday's coming up, wink, wink, you know, all that stuff. And it went friggin' crazy. They got like 9,000 likes in like a week and a half, 2 weeks on their page. Every single post was getting 300, 400 likes. Bro, like first client killed it, absolutely killed it. And then in 3 months after that, I was actually moving to the States because I got offered a job there, like a really well-paid job. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go. And she was like, also brought me into the office and she was like, what are you doing for me that I can't do for myself? And I was like, I actually don't know. I feel like you could do all this yourself. And she was like, well, yeah, I'm going to get my niece to do it. And I'm like, fuck's sake.
Saving you time.
So I lost my first ever client, even though I killed it for them, lost the client, but it actually it inspired everything from there. And then I was like, right, I need to find something that's more like remote rather than like in person. I want to do it from America and make money, blah, blah, blah. Because I was working 9 to 5, didn't have time for nothing, didn't have time for sales calls, cold calling, none of that. So it needed to be like automated, whatever. So I did drop shipping, and I ran with that for like a year and a half, 2 years. Ran up ridiculous.
What product?
It was different in the traditional sense. So this drop shipping method is actually kind of black hat, and I don't even know if it's possible anymore. But I was drop shipping from Amazon to eBay, And basically, it's like arbitrage. Like, let's say they sell toilet paper for £5 there, you sell it for £5.50 on eBay, you make 50p. The margins are shit. But then you set up 40, 50 eBay stores, 40, 50 eBay, PayPal accounts. You have thousands of items per account. You have hundreds of thousands of items. You're making 50p, a pound, £2 per sale, thousands of times per day. You're printing money, but it's like logistically difficult. Your revenue's so high, profit's like so low, like 10. If you're lucky, like 15%, which is actually for e-com, that's like actually typical.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about right for e-com. Like some of these brands, like 5%. I don't even know how they do it, man.
Yeah, they're just looking for that exit valuation
Literally. But I was doing that for a year and a half, 2 years. Ran that into the ground. Whenever that strategy was no longer viable, transitioned back into social media, and then set up. I had an agency before this one, and that was very successful. And then I shifted into this new one, which is obviously successful as well. And that's kind of like the journey so far, like move from content to dropshipping back to content again. So yeah, kind of full circle.
That's what it has to be. Content's always been the thing.
Yeah.
And people just don't really, I think actually, good point on that. Like, I think now the conversation is creative is the variable with ads and paid media. People now realize that creative is so important.
Yeah.
Whereas maybe early last year, people didn't think that. They thought they could put up like an item with like some text on the item as like a graphic, and that would be it.
Yep.
And that would run on Facebook, Instagram, and that would get sales. But now that doesn't happen. So I think there's enough of the big dogs. You know, the conversation is loud. Creative is the variable. You need to be testing. You need to be doing more variations. And that obviously helps us as a creative agency because we get a lot of inbound from that. But people are being educated that content is king, creative is like queen. You need to be testing, you need to have high volume iterations, variations, and that's what ad agencies are looking for. That's how ad agencies would be partnering with someone like us, and also brands. They need a creative agency. It's like a bolt-on, just someone right there that they can just lean on and be like, yeah, we have a new drop coming. We need more of this.
More ads,
we need some
more
of
content.
this. Yeah.
What do you think is like the most important part of a creative? Obviously, it depends on the brand, but what would you say are like the core foundational blocks of a winning creative that will actually like print cash?
A winning creative, and this is something we talk about a lot, so for me has to be like malleable. So if we take a video and we put it live and it does well, we want to be able to turn it into another variation. So some people get themselves backed into the corner where they make something that's just so one-dimensional, it doesn't have opportunity for variation, and then they need to put a lot of time and a lot of energy into making another version. Whereas what we do with our framework, which I can go deeper on, is when we're creating, always in the back of our minds, even from the scripting to the briefing, we're thinking, how can we make more versions of this, if it does well?
Yep.
And that's and how we do it at a high level is, we're thinking of, let's say the hook, like the first couple of seconds, we're thinking about that as a section of the video that could be changed if needed to be. We're thinking of, the different USPs that we're talking about. They could be swapped in and out, positive spins or negative spins, problems and solutions. We're thinking about that when we're making the creative, because then if it pops off and we get a lot of things right, we could actually make 4, 5, 6 more versions of that quite quickly by just like doing a wee, bait and switch. Take that hook off, put that one on. Take that problem out, put that one in. And if you build it like that, we've tagged it, we've called it the creative remix framework. So we can just remix those creatives. And that's what I think is the thing. And then to counter it, to show you what wouldn't be the thing, would be like, putting a lot of time and energy into like going out to a business to shoot a talking head interview style thing, right? Like that used to work quite well. That's not working right now. Or, a one shot of a product, one shot of a product that is not really demonstrating the solution or demonstrating the problem. Like if it's very one dimensional, I think you're going to get stuck, and then you need to put more energy in to get more winners. Where if you think about that at the start, you have that remix ability.
Yeah. So if you go to too complex with the ad idea, then it makes it impossible to mix and match with other elements.
Yeah.
So you got to think like, okay, this body could stand alone by itself, this hook could stand alone by itself, and it can flow into a different body. This body will work with a different hook, this ending will work with both those combined.
Yeah, different call to actions.
Like you Frankenstein it together with other parts, and that's how you find the winning creative, better CTR or whatever.
Yeah, and for people who want to do this, and for brands that want to try doing something like that, the easiest way to do it is the positive versus the negative. So let's say, like we have a coffee brand, right? So the positives of the coffee brand is that you're going to be more focused, and you're going to have, you're going to get into your flow state, right? So that's the positive. So you shoot all them, like these are the benefits. And then the other side is the negatives, that the negatives is like you get jitters. So it's like avoid jitters. Don't get avoid post caffeine crash. Those are the negatives. So you've got positives and negatives. So we shoot all of them, and then you can have one whole video which just focuses on the positives, and then one whole video that debunks the negatives, solves the negatives, and then the call to action could be the exact same. The hook could also be exact same. But there's 2 videos, and then similarly, each of those videos could have 2 different hooks. All of a sudden, you can start to see how we're starting to multiply, quite a lot of different creative, and that all just comes from taking a step back at the very start, thinking about what's going to be shot, and then shooting it all in a day.
Do you have a particular, because when we met up the other day, you talked about a certain creative that like smoked everything else they did before. I don't know if you could talk too much about it specifically, but do you have a particular campaign or creative that like killed it, like above everything else?
I can sort of talk about it, but I can't say what the numbers that we beat were, but I can talk about it because it's a testimonial now on our website. So we did a campaign, it was a Q4 campaign with like a sports tech company. We got one of their key ambassadors, Phil Foden, to do some UGC, and pretty much every number just 4x across the board, like 4x thumb stop, 4x sessions, 4x revenue. So the full campaign just exploded. It did really, really well. And what we were comparing that to was like the brand style pieces that they were doing, where they were putting in a lot of energy, loads of different cameras, loads of different lights, whereas we were shooting this UGC with the phone. So it was like more
organic feeling.
Yeah, but again, to your point about that, like that one of the versions that we made was the winner. But there was lots of versions that we made that weren't the winner. But because of the way we create content and because of the way we can, mold it together to make variations, we found the winner much easier than what they would do, because they had this full, let's say, TVC campaign that was kind of condensed into social. Still a lovely ad, but didn't convert.
And that was a TV campaign, you said?
Well, theirs was.
Yeah.
But they turned, it's like that TV quality campaign, but they've just gone, let's run it on social, let's cut it down.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And then even some brands, they put a lot of energy and a lot of effort into their high value, high production social media videos, and they look good and they're good for brand. But, especially top of funnel, they're not really converting.
Well, the thing is now, I think like trust with consumers is so low these days that brands need to make their ads feel not like ads. They need to make it feel like a native piece of organic content. Or if they see, Phil kicking a football or whatever he was doing, like they're like, oh, this might be a regular content. And then halfway through, it turns out to be an ad, but it doesn't feel like an ad because it's shot in such an organic way that it can almost, I don't want to say the word trick, but it almost does trick the viewer into thinking that it's an organic piece of content rather than an ad.
Exactly.
But have you noticed like a shift recently between more hyper-produced ads versus more organic feel, or how have you seen that change?
We've definitely seen a lot more organic feel ads doing well, and even though we do produce the high quality stuff as well, the organic stuff is very, very good. But what we're starting to do now a little bit more is bring the brand into the organic. So for example, it's the whole UGC thing, if done well, still works. But UGC, as in the user's there, but maybe we're throwing some brand in there. We're throwing like logo, we're throwing brand text, we're throwing like brand pop-outs. We're not staying inside the confines of native TikTok or native Instagram. And I just think that that's slowly pushing back towards brand style. And then towards the end of our videos, you know, we'll be able to whip a whole lot of different examples. I could even throw them over this video, but towards the end of our videos, we're leaving the call to action screen as fully brand.
Yep.
It's not girl next door going, you know, definitely go check it out. You can buy it right here. It's full brand.
It slides in a whole different screen, like logo, click the link, all that stuff.
Yeah, so it's like products on screen. It's the product shot that we shoot here in the studio. It's the call to action. Maybe there's a code and it's like pointing at it. Actually, they did a really nice one with a natural deodorant brand that I saw today. And the hands are like all coming in, but they're just kind of moving so slightly, and they're just leaving it there, and it just stays there an extra 2 to 3 seconds, you know. And I think that's, if people are watching your video and they're engaged, and then they see that brand style slide at the end, I think that's helping conversions. Now we are looking at data as well to make those decisions, but that's where brand's starting to come in a little bit more. Whereas if you think about what it was, UGC girl tells you to go buy it, and then the video ends, it almost loops back to the start.
Yep. You need to have that more strong call to action. I think like almost, I don't know if you agree, but like the UGC world, like I think it's kind of, it needs like updated. I feel like a lot of like the UGC creators, they don't actually understand marketing. They don't understand how to make an ad pop. They don't understand copywriting. They don't understand, they just think, get on camera, I'll make a thing, here's the you know, moisturizer or whatever, and it's gonna work. But like, what do like these creators like really get wrong versus what ads need to be?
It's a great question, because I spoke about this before. To me, there's 3 things, and it's the content trifecta. Like if you get these 3 things, you will be able to make good marketing assets, right? And the key is in what I just said there. So the first thing that most people just aim for is the aesthetic. Does it look good? People are choosing their creator based on how their videos look. Maybe it's fast cuts, nice shots, product, lifestyle, looks really good. Okay, that is the first box. You do need that. The second one is the most important. Is the marketing messaging there? Is there problem solution framework? Is there hook story offer, which everyone loves? You know, is that in there? Is there pain points? Are we demonstrating how the product solves the problem with, you know, with good sort of, I wanted to say there, hang on, we'll cut this. What was the word I wanted to say? Oh yeah, so with persuasive writing, you know, are we persuading them in our marketing? That's important. And then the third thing is the time variable. So that's all well and good to find, you know, the girl who can make a brilliant video, looks beautiful, and it has a really good marketing messaging. But if that takes her a whole day to do one, going back to what I said before, you need variation, you need variables. So can they roll out in, you know, one day, can they create something that we can get 20, 30 ads out of? And if the answer is no, you've hit that, you haven't ticked all those boxes, and therefore you're going to get stuck. So the UGC creators of today, they need to understand that. They need to be able to have aesthetic, market messaging, and variations.
Because I know you just put out something on Twitter about how you did that exact same thing with Tyson Fury, and I want to switch gears a little bit, just talk about like your experience with Tyson. Like, how was it like actually working with Tyson, like in Thailand? You were there for like a full week. How was that experience?
That was an incredible experience. That was a pinch me moment. I think coming off the back of working with Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Floyd Mayweather, we started to maybe get complacent, and it felt like we should be there, you know. But then I had to pull our videographer back and be like, do you realize where we are? What we're doing,
just pinch like,
and who we're doing it with. Let's take this in for a second, because this could all be taken away. People would, you know, in their whole careers, their whole lives, they could be boxing fans looking for a moment like this, and we've just had it right now. So I do really appreciate it. I feel blessed. But he's a legend, like super down to earth guy. You know, when we're trying to get content, he doesn't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he just does everything.
You know, he's telling stories about all kinds I can't even say here, and then we're just holding the camera like, right, well, we need to start that again, because that's definitely not going in the video. You know, and that's the kind of guy he is, and he'll put on accents, and he'll become characters, and he'll sing, and as he comes across, like, you know, in the media, he's like that 10x. you know.
Like he would be like a dream client for like a content creator. Because like you just have unlimited. I think you said you had like 800 gigabytes or something of footage like across like a couple of days. Like he's just a content machine. Like always saying funny stuff. Like there's always a moment.
We just rolled for 24/7 when we were with him. And then when we were with him in Manchester, not Thailand, we were doing the hooks thing. We did the creative framework with him, and we had 2 hours, hard 2 hours because he's booked, and we got it done in 1 hour 45, which isn't we saved 15 minutes because he was just so good. He was just doing. He's like, give me the next line, ba, ba, ba. Give me the next line, ba, ba, ba.
So he wasn't like a diva. He was very open to doing whatever you said.
He was not a diva. He was incredible. So from the moment we put the mic on, he bust out a rap to do his mic check, and then from that moment we knew he was.
You're
great.
like, thank God.
I'll paste the rhyme right now. It's actually great.
So you were with Tyson in Thailand. Was there any particular like funny moments with Tyson Fury you can share?
I drew the Mike Tyson tattoo on Gypsy John Fury's face.
Yeah.
And we did that for a skit that we were going to be making, which is called One Night in Bangkok. Like, it was basically the Hangover skit, where they woke up and they're like, "What the fuck happened?" And then they crack a ferocity.
I saw that. That was so funny. Like how did that come about? Like, who came up with that idea?
I came up with it.
Just on the spot, like in the hotel room. You're like, fuck.
It was like, they were training, and they're like, we've got a period of time between now to when like we have to go to the show. So like normally we would just sit and like chill out, have a beer or whatever. But it's an opportunity to get some content. And they did funny skits before, like they did the Peaky Blinders skit in Saudi Arabia, and it went really well. No fighting. Yeah, that's one. That's the one. So we're just like, what else could we do? And I was like, I already thought about it. I think I'd said it out loud somewhere. I was like, this is a good idea. So I repitched it. I was like, we could do the Tyson Fury one, or sorry, Mike
Tyson tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do the Hangover one. So I was just sitting there in the hotel, got a marker, and I was just sitting there practicing drawing this Tyson tattoo because it was fucking difficult.
How many rounds of the tattoo did you have to do before you got it right?
I did 2.
Just 2?
No, I did 1 on my notes in the taxi on the way there, and then I did 2 on paper, and then we just did it on John's face, and it was perfect. The one I did in his face was the best one, and I was like shaking because I was like, oh my God, I'd never been so close to this man's head, massive head.
Was he like worried about doing it, or was he like, let's go?
He didn't give a fuck.
He didn't care.
He's like, whatever you need, let's do it.
That's hilarious.
They're all up for it. They're really keen for it. So then we did that, and then did the whole skit. It was belly laughter, like our ribs were in stitches.
I would have been dying. Like,
you should see the behind the scenes, like even Tyson's in stitches laughing at his dad.
You should definitely make a behind the scenes video of that.
Yeah,
sure.
There's one up on our social now. It's funny.
Life Like Media, go check it out.
And then, so at the end, it's all fun, like good crack. We're all talking about how funny it was. All of a sudden, you just hear John in the bathroom being like, "This shit's not coming off." And I'm like,
I was about to say, like, was it the rest of the trip that he had it on his face?
I was like, shit. So I walked in and he's like, "This is genuinely not coming off." And he's like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you." And points at me, and I was like, no. I was like, it will. I was like, I tested it. I was like, I did a line on my hand. Like he's like, "This isn't." I was like, and you hear Tyson in the background. He's like, "Put some fucking soap on it." And I was like, oh my God. He's like, they're going to a show. This was like in between the time we were going to a show. John was going to be speaking on stage. He couldn't get this Mike Tyson tattoo off his face. And then eventually he's like soaping it, rubbing his whole face off. And eventually it came off.
It came off fully?
And I was like, whew.
Man, because that would have been the first thing that I thought of. If someone was like, "Let me draw a permanent marker on your face, a tattoo," I'd be like, well, I got an event here in an hour. Like, is it going to come off or not? But he just obviously didn't care.
Like, I think he just thought that, and I thought it'd be fine. But I don't know. He must like sweated and like it just like I don't know, had a protective barrier on it or something.
That is so funny, man. And it was just you guys were just in Bangkok the whole time, or did you move?
We flew from Bangkok to Phuket. And did a show in Phuket, and then went to the Bang Tao gym. And basically, what in the Bang Tao gym, Tyson did what only one other heavyweight's ever done in the world, which was Muhammad Ali. And he fought the public. He did 17 rounds with 17 people. And I believe Muhammad Ali did 15 rounds with 15 members of the public.
That's crazy.
And no one's ever done that before. And it was just, he comes in, he was actually wearing no top. Like, he was doing a wee speech to the gym. He was wearing no top. He's just being Tyson. And he just walks in and he's like, "Right, music on, fans off, let's get in the fucking ring.
Fans off.
Yeah, he's like fans off,
anyone.
and then he puts a jumper on because he wants to get sweaty, but they actually give him a wee bang towel top just for a wee bit of promo. So he wears his bang towel top, fans off, he wants to get sweaty, get some weight off, and then he just having the crack. He's like letting them have full digs at his ribs. He's like, come on then, and then boom, he'll just throw them one.
Man. All ties as well, all ties?
No. Brits, Americans, Australians, everyone from around the world goes to that gym to train MMA. It's owned by Alex Volkanovski, UFC fighter, and a bunch of really good fighters in there. So that's what.
Was he there, Volkanovski?
He wasn't, but I know some fighters that were there.
Was there anybody that fought Tyson that was like trying to like give it to him, like, or was everyone like, was it playful, or did somebody come in trying to like prove a point?
A couple of people had an ego and they brought it with them. One guy, he was a Thai lad, local lad. Whenever he put his gloves on and everyone knew he was up next, the crowd started screaming because he was their champion at the gym, but he was so small and he was actually throwing full combos into Tyson's belly, and he was just like bap bap bap, like letting them bounce off. And then your man got a bit annoyed. He kind of like put a knee into him, and then he started doing some MMA. And Tyson's like, whoa, like all just for banter, kind of. But your man was like, fucking, I'll show you.
If I did that, like, I could never. I feel like if you go hard with someone like that, and I trained with a 3-time world champion a few weeks ago. His name's Robin Reed. He fought like Joe Calzaghe. Nice. Brian McGee was a Northern Irish fighter. Fought Carl Froch, like some big names, like back in the early 2000s. 3-time world champion, and I just, like, you don't want to be that guy who's trying to like prove a point to the world champion. Like, he could kill you if you wanted to, so why are you trying to like, you know, prove a point and try and get digs on him, you know?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So I was on the corner and I was filming it, and I've also been lucky to be in a situation where I've been filming with Floyd Mayweather and his team, and when Floyd's in the ring and he's playing around, his entourage and Floyd are like, we're not fucking around. It's not really a game. Yeah, he's a showman and he'll do that, but if you give him, like, if you clock him, let's say a rib shot, Floyd's like, right, well then you're fucked.
Yeah.
Because boom, 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 you're not getting one up on me. Yep. And his team were like, give it to him, champ, give it to him. And it's almost like that Michael Jordan approach where it's like, I'm gonna dunk on you, even if you're like a 47-year-old woman.
Yeah.
You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, you're a kid, I'm dunking on you because you don't dunk on me. That's what Floyd was like. But Tyson, he's so humble, he doesn't care.
Yep.
Whereas I was in that corner, I was like, let him feel one. And he's just like, it's fine.
The funny thing, like the thing with Tyson is like he's so big, like he's got such a belly that a small guy would smack him on the belly, wouldn't feel a thing, it would bounce right off. But maybe if a smaller guy smacked Floyd in the ribs, then he would feel it like, all right, I'm gonna mess you up now. Like I was playing too easily, but now like you're dead basically.
But I feel like it's a mentality thing. It's like the cleaners and the closers, like that relentless book. But I think his mentality is like he's the champion, he's the best in the world, but he's not athletic. He doesn't train like an athlete. He'll go into his fight camp for 8 weeks and then he'll be, 100%. He'll be dialed in, diet, training, everything. But you should see him, like, he's 6'9", he's overweight, he's bald, like, he doesn't look like an athlete, but that's what he says. He'll stand, Mike, I'm not an athlete. He's like, but I can fight like fuck, and no one's gonna beat me. And I always have that to fall back on. It's like, it doesn't matter how disciplined you want to be, if you don't have the talent, if you don't fight and you can't fight at my level, you're not going to out-train me, essentially.
So how did you end up working with Floyd Mayweather?
Working with Floyd, so we did all the influencer boxing fights. So we did like Kingpin, Showstar, Wicked and Bad. And then whenever Global Titans were doing a fight in Dubai with Floyd on the card, one of the event guys that was on one of the influencer boxing events was also in Global Titans, and they needed a marketing team, and he just suggested that we get in touch. So we sent a proposal in. There was another agency, but we sent a proposal in for ads and content, and we priced it fairly high. Like, it would have been one of our probably our biggest ever contract, just because of the names that were getting thrown about. So and the fact that we had to go to Dubai with like 3 people for a week, and it was a long old project. And essentially they looked at them, and I think they chose us because we were priced like a big, legit agency, which we are, to be fair, we feel like we are, but we're obviously still lean, mean, small time. So they went with us, but what they actually did was then beat me down in price quite a lot. But then we were able to counteract that and be like, right, we'll fly us to Dubai, get our
Yep.
hotels, get our flights, food and everything.
You
And
guys
then-
take some of the expenses off our plate. Yeah.
Exactly. So we had no expenses. We actually had the key to the city. Like we were driving in the back of a Rolls, which had the number plate of 50. You know, with these billionaire Indians, like incredible. But that's how we got it. Through the previous work that we'd done, having our name thrown about, and then going in and pitching for that. Same how we work with Tyson. But yeah, there's many stories from that Dubai and Floyd one, but that's how we got it. Yeah.
Tell me a story about working with Floyd in Dubai.
So working with Floyd, I actually have like negative connotation towards it because Floyd is very reserved. He's quiet. We were trying to shoot content and do like vlogs, but he wasn't given anything. He would sit in the car for 2 hours and then be late.
Yeah.
And this actually wound me up quite a lot. So I ended up not wanting to film him and put one of our juniors on him as a client. So like imagine this guy not really into video, kind of figuring out video. He's just got Floyd Mayweather to sort of shadow. And I then moved and went to Tommy Fury. So I sort of saw that gap. Tommy's more open. My interactions with Tommy were much better. And I actually got into their team, got to go into the villa, got to train with him, got to go to the radio show with him, and built a really good relationship with Tommy and his team.
Yep.
But with the Floyd thing, you're outcast, you're on the edge, you stand outside the door of that changing room.
Yep.
You'll come in when we say you can come in, and it's just very hostile, and it wasn't good vibes. But when you're with him and when he's fighting, you can tell why he's the best. You know what I mean? He is a fucking phenomenal boxer. Yep. He's shouting, he's getting cocky, you know, he calls himself the pretty boy, like he loves it.
Yep.
He loves that showmanship, which is really fun to be around, but there's that other side of him where it's like, I am the Donny. I don't need you, or I don't want you, you know, it's that sort of side.
He, you know, in a sense that is true, you know, he is like the GOAT, you know, so it's like, if anyone can be like that, it's Floyd. You know, it's that guy. But then it's interesting, there's two different sides of the GOAT side, which is like Fury could be considered the GOAT heavyweight, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Then Mayweather is considered the pound for pound GOAT. So it's like two different attitudes for like different GOATs. Like you could be like Fury, who's all like banter, blah, blah, blah. Then you could be like Floyd, who's like, I'm the best.
But why don't you be like that? Like, I wouldn't say fake you're who you are, but he's definitely faking his, you know, persona where it's like, I'm going to sit in this car for 2 hours just to annoy everyone in that room. I'm going to be late for the press conference. Why? You don't have to do that. You could just turn up, get your job done and go home and be nice to everyone. But, you know, when he's sitting down and he's at the presser, like he speaks well, he's speaking about, he's pleasant. It's just those in-between moments, and those are the little moments that matter, because it's those in-between moments are the moments that we take advantage of. And that's how we end up in these situations, working with these high-profile celebrities, because when you only have us for a couple of minutes, but you see us and you feel like you're getting value, you feel good energy from our team, they're like, oh, keep them around, you know?
How does it feel to be the best videographers for like the top athletes in the world?
Well,
like the go-to guys for Fury, for Mayweather.
It feels incredible because we're definitely not the best, right? We're not the best at pushing the button. Because there's artists that are like probably the best. There's people who are like, they dial into that 1% of being the absolute best shooter, let's say. But we're the best at the whole thing. We're the best to be around. We come up with the best ideas. When they're looking for support or when they're looking for something, we can pull it, right? That's what I've been very good at. Okay, we've got 20 minutes. What's an idea we can do? Let's do Hangover. And I ripped loads of ideas that whole trip, and that's why they want you there. They want you there not to be a yes man.
They want your input. Yeah,
they want your input and they want your value.
Just like you said, like if they wanted some Hollywood level production, I'm sure there's some guy out in LA that can make some ridiculous looking thing. But is it going to perform well in ads? Is it going to perform well in socials? Is it going to be a unique idea that could go viral? Which the John Fury tattoo went viral. I think it got over 1 or 2 million views at least on Tyson's thing. But that's what you guys are the best at for athletes, you know, Premier League football people, literally the biggest names in boxing. Like, you guys are the number one for that.
We're there, up there, but there's probably better. No question. There's definitely better content creators. But like I said before, if you're trying to hire someone, you need that spread. So like if we're trying to hire the UGC, you need to have the aesthetic, the marketing, and the variation. That's what we can provide and more. So for example, with Tommy, when we met Tommy didn't have a TikTok. We set TikTok up for Tommy in his villa and provided the first 3 videos free of charge and sent them to him. And he got like 40, 50,000 followers by the time we posted those 3. And it's like, yeah, he's the big name, so he's going to get followers anyway. But it's like, why did you not have that platform? Why are you not utilizing that platform? And then they start to realize, okay, we could actually use you guys. But it's having it, I think, personally, and I asked this question myself, like, why us? Why me? Why the Belfast boys? Why the wee team here versus like the Manchester agencies or the London agencies? I think it's just, like, it's been good crack.
It's all about people. It's all about people. Yeah. Like you could be like have 100 awards on your wall. You could be like recommended by whoever. But if you guys are recommended, you have won awards as well. But also it's that interpersonal relationship with clients, and I find that too with our clients. Like we have clients that have they're like producers for Hollywood movies, right? These guys could go and find some elite, videography team and blah 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 to come up with all these, because they literally have worked on Oscar-winning movies. But they work with us because they like us. And like we obviously get results too. Like everything we do is really high quality. But they like us. We get on calls, we have a bit of banter, we're joking back and forth. When we get right down to work, it's quick, it's concise. Because people we work with have virtually no time. Like they're busy business owners, they're running their business, they're dealing with employees. They might have 30 to 60 minutes a week to record like content, maybe. Yeah. So like we need to streamline everything for them. Make it like literally you record that, upload it here, done, forget about it till next week or in 2 weeks, however often they want to record, and that's it. Like forget about it. Yeah. And that's why they work with us, because we streamline it so easily and we make it fun too. We make it like you don't have to talk to us really if you don't want to, but when you do, it's good crack. That's like we're on the calls, it's banter. Because
like on that note, right, let's say you are, for example, Team Curiosity or Money Team, right, and you're hiring a videographer or you're hiring a content team. When those guys look at it, they're not going to know what the difference between 80% and 100% is, right? For like absolute best videographer of all time versus like really good one. They have to take in just what they know. Same as us, if we're watching boxing, right? Or if I'm watching Floyd, I'm probably, if he drops to like 80%, I'm probably not going to know those tiny little details, right? They're not going to know the tiny little details that makes the best videographer versus like, the 80% videographer. They don't get it. So they have to make their judgment based on like gut. Okay, assuming that everyone in the pot is good, what's the other thing? Because being the best videographer isn't going to get it. Okay, you also know marketing. Oh, that's good. Okay, you know all the social platforms. Well, that's good. Oh, you're dead on. Oh, that's good. You understand my industry of boxing. That's helpful. Right? So it's all of those little things combined is what's going to get you those big opportunities. So if there's a lesson there, I'd be like, don't go so, like, unless you're trying to be a basketball player and you need to have that top 1% basketball. I think in this space, the content space and the social media space, you don't have to be the top 1% social media person. You have to have something else. It's that crossover skill. There is someone speaks about this where it's like, what are you, a gym owner but a marketer? Okay, gym launch, Alex Hormozy, right? Same thing. There's something there. I might flesh that out actually in the world, but I think there's something there. Yeah, I think also as a business owner, you have to kind of be like a jack of all trades, because like it's just natural. Like you get into business, right? You need to learn how to get a call with somebody qualified. You need to learn how to sell them on the call. You need to learn how to deliver the results. You need to learn how to manage a team. You need to learn how to do this. You literally like business. I always think is the number one self-development tool. You can read all the books you want, but if you really want to develop yourself quickly, you start a business. Because now you got to manage people, you got to manage, expenses, you got to keep your mental right, you got to stay like cool, you got to like manage your stress, not go into a downward spiral of whatever. You need to get more clients, you need to scale, you need to handle that scale. You need to be able to keep pushing whenever you're making a buttload of money. You're like, right, oh, I could chill now, but you don't want to, you want to keep pushing. Like it's the best self-development tool, like in my opinion. That's it. Like a lot of people do all the study, all the theory, but they don't do the action. And that's the only thing that actually moves the needle, isn't it? 100%. Okay, let me switch gears slightly. I want to ask you about, briefly, I don't know how much you know about it, because I don't know loads, hence why I want to ask you. I want to ask you about AI. I want to know just theoretically, like, where do you sit with it? Where do you think it's going? What do you think, is there a threat, or what is the opportunity with AI, especially in the creator space?
I think a lot of the fear of AI is total bullshit, honestly. I think that a lot of people are scared that they're going to lose their job, and there are a lot of jobs that are going to get wiped out, like these admin jobs, like if you're typing on a spreadsheet, or you're, something that's very black and white, zeros and ones, like that's going to get fleshed out by AI. But I think that creatively, it's going to be more of a tool to help you perform better rather than actually replace you. Because if you type in a ChatGPT, make me a viral video, it's going to give you some rubbish. And I guarantee you it's never going to be able to give you a really good viral video without a human interaction. Maybe it'll give you a framework, maybe it'll give you an idea that will spark your viral video idea, for example, but it's never going to actually be able to make a video go viral. It's not going to understand the nuance of how to present on camera. It's not going to understand the nuance of how to edit it in the right way, how to make this idea that's actually going to resonate with human, because it's not human, it's AI.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people that are scared about losing their job or whatever from AI in the creative space, I don't think it's really going to happen to the degree that people think it is. I think it's just going to help people actually deliver more volume, for example. Like if I can go into ChatGPT and feed it the right prompts, and it spits me out 20, 30 ideas, maybe 3/4 are bad, but 1/4 is good, and I keep asking it prompts, and it just gives me a bunch of topics. I can sit with those topics, and then I can start to flesh out ideas. Whereas if I was to try and organically come up with those ideas, it might have took me a lot longer.
Yeah.
So it can speed up a lot of your work, but the actual portion of turning that into a viral piece of content or an ad that's going to convert, you still are always going to need a human for that. They're simply not going to replace.
And it's funny that you said that about viral content, because I actually watched a study on the viral content. So some lads did it. They tried to create viral content with the AI, and what they got was the most bang average video of all time, because the AI has consumed everything, and the sum of everything is the average.
Yeah.
And they got the average, and they put their findings based on like views and engagement. But it just goes to show you, do you know what I mean? Unless you only feed the AI the virality, it's not going to be able to produce virality because of what it is as an AI. It's like, oh, I've learned everything, so I'll create the sum of what I know. And
it's also not just the script, for example. It's also like these uncontrollable variables like the algorithm, which nobody knows really how it works. You understand how to game it a little bit, but it's always changing. And like if I put out a video that gets 1 million views, and someone else puts out a similar video, almost the same, with their face, and it gets like 100 views, like what was really the difference? They're basically the same video, but one hit and one didn't, right? So then is this then considered a viral video, or is it considered crap, like by this 100 view standard? So it's like, what can the AI really do with that? I don't really think they can do anything. And really, I think with AI, man, it's like I said, it's just going to be a tool. It's going to accelerate everything. It means that the employees are gone. It means you don't need to hire as many people. I know so many people that fired employees from their marketing agency, for example. We joke about it, but I probably shouldn't. But I'm like, learn this thing, or this thing will learn you, right? Yeah. I'm like, figure out AI before AI replaces you. But we've been bantering about it for ages. Like we did an AI training when ChatGPT launched last year. We do AI trainings every now and then. Like we've been playing on Midjourney. Midjourney just released the zoom out feature. I don't know if you've seen that. We could do it already on Photoshop, but let's say I take a picture of you here right now, put it in the Midjourney, I zoom out, it will fabricate and make up. We've used that too. And you can do it a few times, and they just dropped it, and it's like, okay, well, they've dropped that, what next? That's going to be video form next. So, maybe you don't need a full team of people to do what the AI can do. You just need someone to manage the AI. The thing is, AI is not going to be able to meet your clients. They're not going to be able to talk to your clients. They're not going to be able to keep them happy. And actually, I think people are going to pay more to interact with companies that are not AI in the future, because all these companies are going to go the way of AI. They're going to replace all their customer service with AI, and everyone's going to know it. They're going to be talking to the chat, and they're just going to feel like it's AI. Like, oh, this doesn't feel like a human, right? Yeah, the first question will be like, are you a bot or are you a human? Yeah, and they'll know it's AI, so then people will get sick of that because they know they're not going to get the right solution to their problem. So I guarantee, and this is my prediction for AI, companies in the future are going to charge a premium to have you talk to humans rather than AI. There's going to be an option where it's like you can have priority support with humans rather than our normal support with AI. And people will prefer to do business the same way now that you see, like when you buy coffee, it's like ethically harvest beans, or like, this is organic, or, zero emissions, whatever. It's gonna be the same thing, but with AI. Humans only, no AI or whatever. I guarantee it'll be the same thing. We'll see that in the next 20 years with products.
Well, on that point then, do you think it's more valuable to have an in-house team or a remote team? Do you think that brands would pay more, let's say in my industry, right? Or, well, technically it is our industry. Let's say in the creative industry, would brands pay more to have your team remote all over like Eastern Europe, America, or would they pay more to have in-house, or do you think it doesn't even matter at all, it just matters in the results?
So we have similar businesses but different. Like you do physical products and in-person shoots, ours is all remote. And the way we make our content, we don't need to be in person. And I know there are some people in the industry that do it in person, and there is an advantage to that in a sense where you could control the outcome a little bit more. But it depends kind of what you want, right? Like for me, my business partner lives in North America, I live in Europe. I don't like paying, European taxes, so we have our structured abroad, and because it's, a digital business, we can do that. And I also like to have like location freedom, all that stuff. I did work in an office for a long time and I didn't like it. So there is definitely pros and cons. For your business, way better to be in person. And businesses will pay more to have, if they need what you offer, if a company needs what you offer, they'll pay more for in person because it's more controllable, and obviously you get a better product on the outset. For our stuff, since we work with personal brands and they're all just recording content in their own time, at home, in their studio, at their computer, whatever, they're recording the content that we make for them. We don't really need to be there. And let's say, and this always happens with clients, so like let's say they never made content before really, like they just maybe talked on a podcast, so they didn't really make video content. There is a coaching phase in like that first month where I'll jump on a call, I'll get on Zoom with a client, and I'll be there for the 60 minutes it takes them to record our scripts, and I'll give them live feedback as if I was there in person. I'll do that 2-3 times, and on the fourth time they don't need it because they know exactly how to do it. Yeah. And then every shoot after that is perfect. There's no extra, we don't really need to be there in person. But I do know some people, that do go fly out to clients to record like hundreds and hundreds of videos in like 2 days.
Yeah.
And that's them set for like 6 months or whatever. I know that people do that, but I really like our current setup. And hey, if a client wants me to fly out to them, I've done it before, we can do it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Suppose for talking head, it's easy.
Yeah.
Because you just need to guide them how to set it up. But for example, we flew over to Tyson in Manchester. We fly to London. We fly all over for those high production quality shoots, and we're flying over to do UGC, which you could argue you could brief, but when you have that athlete for 2 hours, you don't risk it. We took a full team.
Yep.
Okay, let me do a couple of things then. I just came up with an idea there, right? Because when you were talking about the AI thing, I made a tweet, but I left it in my drafts. So read me a draft tweet that you haven't posted.
Okay, let's do that.
This is exclusive.
We shouldn't cut this. This is good.
I don't want to cut it.
Let's see. Where's my Twitter?
Because the only reason this came up into my mind is because the thing that you said reminded me of my most recent drafted tweet.
Let's see, drafts. I have a few. Oh, why is mine not going?
The values in the drafts.
Maybe because I changed phone recently, it's not giving all my old stuff, but I have a few recent. Do you want to go first or what?
You can go first.
Let's see. Okay, I'll do this one. So the tweet reads, "Oh, you're burned out from typing on a laptop? My paramedic friend just found a person dead for so long in their home they liquefied into the floor. He still gets up at 5 a.m. daily for work, but you need to take a break because you're I didn't finish it off, but you need to take a break because you're tired from your laptop."
That hits.
Like that was man, I have this paramedic friend, shout out Dylan, and he's a savage. He's literally my oldest friend, and I seen him again the other day for the first time in a few years actually. And he was telling me the maddest stories from like paramedics, bro. They see the maddest things.
Don't want to hear it.
The maddest things. Yeah, we'll probably get took off the internet for talking about it. But damn, if you want to hear the craziest stories, talk to a paramedic. Paul, can you show me one of your draft tweets? Read it out for me.
My draft tweet. So my most recent one is, the year is 2030. You're now judged by how high your screen time is. The wealthy spend less time online, and the poor are slaves to the digital world. Half-baked, but...
I think it's poignant. It's kind of like the social credit score system or something in China, you know, like...
Yeah.
If you got high screen time, it's like, ooh, it's not so good.
I feel like because of the, you know, you said something similar before, but it's like the founder has to have the high screen time to become the founder.
Yeah.
Once he becomes the founder, then he can.
He goes to ballet and doing yoga and all, and then he's like Mr. You know, disconnected.
Whereas the slaves in this tweet are like the people who have to use the people who have to use the actual technology, use the social platforms in order to do their job. So like, there's a lot of brands, a lot of influencers, whatever, they must use social media, they must be on it, they must know what's happening, be up to date, to obviously do their job, but then they're like the slaves to it, but then eventually they can break through, and then instead of leveraging social and leveraging digital, they can leverage people, and the people then leverage the social.
So let's see between me and you who's more of a slave, who has the highest daily average screen time.
Oh my God, it's definitely me.
It has to be, maybe me, like, because my company's remote, so I'm on Slack all the time, like.
But does your phone, when you read screen time, does it take your Mac? Because I'm literally never off it, like.
Probably not, I don't think so.
How do you go screen time?
Just swipe all the way left on your iPhone.
There's no...
But click the week, so it shows your daily average.
My daily average is more
hours
than I'm awake, like.
3, 2, 1. Holy fuck!
Oh,
you're 2 hours more than me, man. Slave.
9 hours, 31 screen time. I'm not even awake 9 hours.
You're a slave to the Matrix, man. But to be fair, though, on Wednesday, I was on for 10 hours. Check that out.
That's it. That's what you need.
Wednesday, 10 hours. Tuesday, 9 hours. Today, only 4 hours.
But, bro, do you know what it is? Like, I'm never off.
It's bad, like, but you always notice it is like the social. That's also the bad thing about running content. I'm just constantly on socials, like looking at content and shit.
Slack, Google, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp's my most used in a week is WhatsApp by almost twice. So that's just comms, like.
Yeah, that's hustling, bro. That's getting deals done.
Getting it done. Right, that was crazy. Right, I've been meaning to ask you this particular question. So let me see. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Okay. So you've heard of UGC.
Yep.
Have you heard of PGC? Podcast generated content.
Yeah.
Right. So this is what's happening. I've seen it with like Hi Smile. I've seen it with like other big brands, where they have the podcast studio and they set it up just to talk about the brand.
Yep.
Or they're sending the brand to podcasters to talk about it in like a casual conversation, like what we've been having today.
Yep.
Like, and they're just talking about, oh, did you see that product? Or did you see that thing? Did you notice that thing that's happening? And it's a plug, and then they're using the podcast as the ad.
Yep.
I think that could be where content is starting to move, or a trend that will definitely come in, like UGC did.
So I made this video last year, October, November, and I was talking about this exact same thing. And the video was basically like, here's like a borderline unethical, like creative, like hack for your creatives. And I basically said, get a red curtain, put it behind you, put on some.
Oh, do the Joe Rogan one?
Just fake a Joe Rogan podcast. And the reason I made that video is because I seen that creative. It was from maybe V-Shred or something, like one of these big like fitness course people.
One of the supplement companies did it.
Yeah, they talk about ashwagandha or like Tonkat Ali or one
Tonkat
of Tonkat
Ali,
Ali's like, yeah, so Tonkat Ali has all these benefits, blah blah blah. And then, but when you're swiping on your feed, you see the clip and you don't see the ad, banner at the bottom yet. You just think it's an organic clip. So you do think it is actually podcast. It's so good because because of the podcast world, as soon as you see somebody talking about something on a podcast, you just think it's true. You don't question it really. So if Joe Rogan says something on his pod, you're just like, oh, that's true. This is the gospel. And you don't want to think about any other like counter arguments. You just think it's real. Yeah. So then for companies that are making creatives for their brand, or even just, we do it for clients too. We're literally like, hey, John, put on your headphones and put a podcast mic in front of your face and record like what we tell you to record. And then it looks like it's just coming from a podcast, but it isn't. They set it up,
So I showed you before we started recording the podcast setup that was offered to me. Then thinking about what you've just said, do you think that could be, you could almost invest in that and it's almost like a set. It's like set design more than, we actually want to make a podcast and publish it every week. We would actually bring brands in. They could sit down, have a quick 30-minute conversation about their brand and use those as clips.
You could definitely do that because I think, but the problem is though that it depends on how long that trend is going to last, because UGC and creatives go through a bit of a phase, like this works then it doesn't, and this works then it doesn't. So how much longer is the podcast style going to work? I think probably for the next year or so, because I haven't seen actually that many people pump out that creative. I've seen the same 2 brands do it, but not enough for actually capitalizing on it. And then it's whenever like the Hormozy style edit, like in the beginning, if you had Hormozy style edits, you were getting views, and then everybody did it, and then it kind of fell off, and then it's like, all right, it's more than the edit, it's actually the idea behind the video that actually works. Same for this, like you could have clients cranking out these videos and they just print cash until they don't. So it just depends on the next trend, like what's actually gonna come in. But I think for creators organically, even if you're not running ads, just making your organic content look like you've said it on a podcast, it's literally just going to get you more views like off the bat. We do it for our clients.
Yeah, it's nice. I like that. Okay, another quick one then. So I've heard someone talk about, I heard this stat, right? That 82% of all video views last year came from short form content on social media. That is a ridiculous stat, but I suppose it makes sense because of how many users are on TikTok. I presume most of that data comes from TikTok and then Reels and now YouTube. So, what about that?
Well, you have like 1 billion people on TikTok or something like that, like a lot of people. And
actually, sorry, TikTok currently has 125 billion daily views.
That's so mad, like.
That's crazy.
And like, if you look at people, it's like, I run a company that makes short form. I don't even have TikTok on my phone because it's so addictive. But the average person, like they're just watching TikTok all day. If you look at their screen time, they're probably spending hours a day. The average TikTok video, 30 to 60 seconds long. How many videos for that one person do they watch in that 2 hours that they're spending on TikTok? It could be, they're watching hundreds. Hundreds and hundreds of videos. Multiply that across the billions of users, it's gonna rack up. Like me, I have like, I don't even know, I don't even want to say numbers, but I've got thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of hours of watch time on my videos. I have 60K on IG. Hundreds of thousands of hours of watch time. If you wanted to get that on your long form YouTube videos back in the day, you need to be like actually have like a really big audience to get hundreds and hundreds of thousands of hours of watch time, because that takes a long time, but with short form, it's quick.
But how do you get the good watch time? Because anyone can produce a short form and they just get scrolled on through, like.
Yeah, so actually, even though I own a company that makes short form content, we also monetize audiences. And so obviously, we want to monetize the audience. So we're not just hammering out short form videos to actually just get views, right? We're thinking about how it's actually going to be monetized. And you can't really monetize straight off a short form video unless you're like hyper famous like Kim K, right? She can post whatever, make money. But for the regular person, for like a coach who's selling a course or a program, like a coaching program or something like that, you're not gonna make a short form video and say, hey, buy my program. It's not gonna work like that. The short form gets you the attention, it gets you the views, it gets you the audience. They're gonna follow you and subscribe. Now they're semi-captured. They're not fully captured because the short form viewer, they have a lower attention span. They're captured to a degree in your audience. Then you need to nurture them further in a longer form medium. So now they're in your following, then they can watch your stories. That's another way to nurture them. In your stories, you have CTAs either to buy your thing or join your free, whatever it is, free email list, free group, download a lead magnet, whatever it is. Once you've then captured that lead, you're captured it in a really long form medium. So you have their email, either in a group, whatever it is, or they're subscribing to your YouTube. You're trying to move the short form viewer and you're trying to filter out the people who are higher quality, or filter in the people that are higher quality and get them over to a long form medium, so then you can further nurture them with your long form content, and it's there that you're selling. That's what you're selling.
Yeah.
Because if you have 100K people and half of them have a low attention span, they're not gonna read your emails, they're not gonna watch your 20-minute YouTube video, But then there's a percentage of those people that will, and those are your buyers.
Yeah.
And you want to get those people into your long form medium so you can separate them from the short form people, the short attention span people, and that's where you sell. That's where you make your pitches.
It is an organic funnel, just like anything, and there is like a conversion rate on that.
Yeah, it's a lot less predictable.
Yeah.
Like with ads, it's like you have constant traffic. You put the money in, you're getting pretty much the same traffic every day. And then it spits out all this really high quality data at you, and then you can make decisions like a data scientist. All right, change this, change this, change this. Organic isn't really like that. They give you an idea of where people drop off in your video, where they scroll, and that's really about it. You get how many views it got and where they drop off, and that's all you get really. You're not, and one day you could have, and let's say you want to split test a landing page with organic traffic. Your traffic level depends on the videos that you have going out that day. Let's say in 1 week you had millions of views, your videos popped off, then the next week none of your videos popped off. So then is it really a fair test to be split testing one variable this week on a landing page and change it the next week when you don't have good traffic?
Yeah.
It's not. So it's not really the same play as paid. So you need to just get people into a long form medium where you can then start to have reliable data like email open rates or group views or whatever. And then that's when you can start doing your split tests on your offers.
So I've seen your work. I was obviously checking the website, seeing some of the guys you work with. You've got some pretty big names as well. Chris Williamson, isn't
Chris
it?
Williamson, yeah.
He's a bit of a. How did you manage getting a contract with him?
Literally just a DM. Like I seen like.
You DM'd him?
I DM'd him. Yeah.
Nice.
Like I've been watching Chris's content for ages, and we recently started creating like these animation style videos that are popping off at the minute. They're really trending. And I seen like he has so many clips from his podcast, so many sound bites that just got like 10 million views. And I was just like, do you want like this animation with like your voice like layered over the top, like these would kill it on your profile? And he said, yeah, let's do it. And we went back and forth on the kind of things that he wanted. And then we put out a bunch of animations for him. Within like 3 videos, we had over 1 million views, like within 3 videos, like. And that was like his average video probably gets like 100 to 200K, and then he has some like pop off to like 5 mil, 10 mil. Like he has some really viral stuff, but his average video is sitting about 100, 200K, and there's animations. The average, I think, view rate of the animations is like 300K views just on one animation. And so, yeah, I love working with clients like that. It's really interesting to see like the back end of their team as well, because they have tons of people working for them. They have all their people that are getting their clips, that are doing their edits, that are managing the brand. Like it's really interesting to see behind the scenes of a really big personal brand, because all of our clients are personal brands, like whether they're coaches or just entrepreneurs, but they're selling a product and they're big names within their particular niche. But if you tell somebody in the street, hey, we work with this person, they're gonna be like, don't know who it is.
Yeah.
But if you say somebody within that niche, they're like, holy fuck, they're the GOAT of that niche, right?
Yeah.
So it's really fun working with like a more mainstream internet, personality like Chris. It's really fun.
Yeah. And then how does someone like benefit from working with viral growth? So okay, they hire you, of course they get that content, but what's the value for them?
It's time, it's saving time. Like anyone can take out a phone and record a video, but the real difficult part, and all of our clients tell us this, is the ideas. Maybe they can come up with ideas for a week, 2 weeks. After that, they're like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
And then they forget about it. And then they sweep it under the carpet. And then they don't make videos, and then 3 months later, they're like, oh, I should have made videos this whole time, I'd have an audience. So we come in, we give you the ideas, we do the edits, we do the posting, we come up with a monetization strategy, we run the monetization strategy, we make you print cash, and you don't really have to do anything. You just, hey, John, here's your videos this week, or for the next month, however often you want to record it, send us the footage, and you're done for the next month. Chat to you in a few weeks. You don't need to talk to us at all, really, if you don't want to.
So how are they monetizing then? Are they monetizing both for their product, and is there another angle on that?
It's usually high ticket coaching and courses. So we have we work with every client, different niche you can imagine, and we've now niched into sort of coaches, consultants, course sellers, people like this, entrepreneurs, and they do speaking gigs, things like that. But we've worked with SaaSes and apps and everything like that. So we understand how that side works, but we prefer working with these people. And it's mostly coaching. So it's like if you're teaching them how to run a particular kind of business, like Amazon FBA, you're teaching them how to write a book, you're teaching them how to parent your kids better, you're teaching them how a specific kind of health, like we have one client that their entire business revolves around how the light affects your body. Like it's really complex. It's actually like fun writing the videos because I actually learn a lot. So many different kinds of clients, but it's always going into the same thing. It's like, pay us a lot of money to teach you this thing one-on-one. So whether it's, teaching them how to do Amazon, teaching them how to write a book, teaching them how to parent their kids or whatever, then it's like, we have an expensive product, it's for the right kind of person, and we put out this content to attract that person, we get them in, they pay a lot of money, but they get a one-on-one experience, like a one-on-one mentorship. And then of course, some clients will have like lower ticket things as well, like subscription groups or, a low ticket course. But we had one client that of 10,000 followers on IG, he makes between $40,000 and $60,000 a month selling his high ticket program of 10,000 followers. Because it's really, and he gets maybe 2,000 or 3,000 views per video because it's all hyper niche in his like really specific niche. So there isn't like a big addressable market, but because it's hyper targeted in on those people, he just gets the leads he needs, the quality, and he's making between 40 and 60 a month. And
how does someone then, if someone had a course or had a high ticket product and wanted to work with you guys, how would they go about doing that?
I mean, just email us, just message me on social media, @Shopreneur, Twitter, IG, whatever. And then if you have an existing business, it needs to be an existing business. If it's like, we're at the point where we work with people who have an existing social, like have a little bit of followers already, have already maybe tried content, have, had success selling their programs. They have a business that already works. If you're expecting like organic to be like the silver bullet that's gonna blow your business up, like if it hasn't blown up already, this isn't the silver bullet that's just gonna make it automatically work. Like there's other foundational issues. So we work with people who already have a running business that are making cash from their business. And then they want to add another acquisition channel. So maybe they're running paid ads and they've maxed that out. Now we got to go to organic. Yeah. And a lot of our clients, they start with organic with us. Like let's say they've done a little bit of organic by themselves. We come in, we supercharge it, we blow it up, and then they start to look at paid ads. And we've had other clients that are the other way that are making millions per month off paid ads. And they're like, our cost per acquisition is so high, like we just need to now move into organic where we don't have a cost per acquisition, it's just videos. So it's kind of funny, like at every step of like a coaching business, organic always comes into it. Whether it's the first thing you focus on because you don't have the money for ads, or it's the second thing you focus on because your ads get too expensive and you need free acquisitions. So we always factor that in. All right, Paul, thanks for doing the podcast, it was good.
Thanks for coming by, I'm glad 100%. You liked
in the empire.
Because when you walked in, you said, oh fuck, so this is why you like in-person teams. I was like, yeah, I mean, in-person teams, you can't really beat it. Our whole team was here when we arrived. We always have a bit of crack, especially on a Friday, a little bit better vibes, there's buns, a bit of golf. Yep. Those are things you can't really beat, but thanks for stopping by, and obviously have a couple of Baileys as well.
100%.
Some content.
So if somebody wants to have creatives done for the brand, where can they find you?
Yeah, so lifelike.media, that's our website, our Instagram @lifelikemedia. Just get in touch, book a call, send an email, DM me on Instagram. All the usual channels will be about.
Yeah, and if you want to talk to me, @Shopreneur on Twitter, @Shopreneur on IG. And that's it.
It's been a blast, bro. Cheers.